Peace and respect, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of Get Buckets with Coach Gus Gauntlett and friends. We are joined by an awesome guest this week, a connection through the great world of Instagram. Shouts to Instagram for just putting great people out there. This is Andrew Heath, aka Drew Heath. You can check him out at andrewheathbasketball.com. Also the co-founder of Ball to Books and the director of Pro Skills Bay Area. So he's coach, skills trainer, one-on-one type of stuff, group training as well. Definitely check his website out. You can see it there below his name. Andrew, welcome to the show, brother. How are you today? Peace.
Gus, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. And honored to be the 10th episode too.
Yes, sir. Double digits, man. Really, really appreciate it. And I originally I know you have the East Coast roots, and I spent some time out in New York City. I know you're from Connecticut and have spent some time on the East Coast as well as playing overseas. And I was really happy to find out that you're here in the Bay Area, where I've come home as well to the Bay. So I hope we can link up in person once COVID just takes a seat on the bench.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully. Originally from East Coast, Connecticut, then went to school in Boston, played basketball, ran track there. And then was kind of figuring out what I was doing after that. And then before moving to the Bay, I was actually in China for 3 years, coaching and playing.
Very fly. Very fly. Yeah, if you want to learn more about what Drew does or his playing career as well, definitely check out his website, andrewheathbasketball.com. Lots of cool stuff. I see you have like some marketing and events coordination in your experience as well and in your skill set.
Yeah.
Really dope to know about.
Yeah. That was actually one of the first things I did right after college. I had an opportunity to intern at a Harvard University, actually, in their athletic department. So I did a lot of their promotions and marketing for their like Yale versus Harvard games and all the like historic stuff they got going on. And that's just helped me like along my career, just with anything else. If I'm putting out a clinic or a camp, I've had opportunities to host camps and clinics internationally as well too. So all that stuff kind of combines together to where I'm at right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, one of your skills is coaching, and on Get Buckets, we are all about coaching and sharing knowledge. And the main purpose of this show is just to gain and share knowledge with the basketball world and the coaching world at large. So I appreciate you being on and being down to share a couple of plays and give some feedback on the play I dropped as well.
Cool. Yeah, we'll jump right into it. So this first one I got for you is something. So in China, they have this league called the Wild Ball League. So that's what I was playing when I was over there for the team called the Beijing Panthers. And this was a play our coach, Rodney Hurd, who's actually with the Milwaukee Bucks now, I think, ran for us a few times. And selfishly, a little selfish plug, I was able to hit a few big shots off of this play right here.
Okay.
So starting off, it's a little bit of a misdirection dual action play to go into it, and we usually used it end of game or end of quarter situation. So it's not like a continuous like motion play or anything like that, but it could transition into that. But we're really looking for like one or two or three options right off the bat, and then going from there. So it's gonna start off. You're gonna have your one man over here, your five here, your 3, 2, and then your 4. The 4 could honestly be interchangeable, whether it's on the block or the high post. And then the 2 and 3, you really just want one of your better shooters to start down here in the corner. Mm-hmm. And so ideally, this is something that you're going to transition into bringing the ball up the floor. This isn't something like a half court set per se, even though we're running it in the half court. So as the 1 crosses over half court, the 1 and the 5 are just going to interchange. If the 5 wants to do a brush screen, that's fine. But the 5 is going to come up here. The 1 is going to aggressively attack the baseline. If his defender's sleeping, and depending on time and score, by all means, the 1 attack the cup, get to the basket, get your easy bucket. Usually that first look isn't there. So then right after, grab this race real quick. So now we got the 5 is over here now. We're going to have a little sideline pick and roll situation. And then the 1's going to come right back off of this. The 5 has an option to either roll to the basket or pick and pop, depending on your personnel and what you're working with. The 1's coming off this aggressive, looking to score. And not only for this play, but just like a tip overall, that ball handler should be coming off the pick, looking to score. Don't come off passive, like look to get to the cup, and then the defense will react to that. While this is happening, we're setting a staggered down screen for your shooter in the corner here. The key to this is timing. So we don't want to do this during all that first action, right? So while the one's dribbling down and they're switching, we're just hanging out and chilling over here, all right? Once the 5 sets the screen for the 1, the 4 is going to come down here, 3 is going to come down here, and then the 2 is swinging around, looking to catch the top of the key for a 3-point shot. After that, we want the 4 to dive to the bucket, and then the 3 to space back out over here. This is the shot I got 2 of the games playing over there in Beijing, and luckily enough, I knocked it down both times in 2 of those games. If this doesn't happen, let's say the defense rotates perfectly through all that, it really depends on where the 5 goes after that initial play. So to bring it back a little bit, let's say the 5 pops, right? And now we have this setup over here. So we'll have the 3 here, and then the 4 is down here. From this setup, we could go into a continuous pick and roll type of offense. Mm-hmm. So the 2 will pass to the 3, the 2 will cut through, the 1 will slide over, right? This guy goes through. Then we have coming up, send a pick for the 3. If nothing happens here, the 3 will send it back to the 1, the 2 will be over here, and then the 2 and the 5 on that side will go into a continuous pick and roll situation. And then you can just keep running that until you get a look. But for most situations, we ran this when there was 20 seconds or left on the clock. So even if we didn't get a good look, a shot was going up by the time the clock ran out. If the 5 doesn't pop, so let's say from that initial action, right, the 5 rolled, he's down there. So now we just got like a basic 3 out, 2 in set. And then from here, you can just run a basic motion offense just to get a good look. But like I said, typically the play never went that far. And then for anyone that watching, so this is my coach at the time, was a former NBA coach, and now he's back in the league. This is stuff they run at like high level stuff, but it doesn't seem like that intense of a play, right? It's really just one pick and roll and then a down screen, but it really comes down to the timing and then how efficient you run the set, which I think is just something across the board on everything. I'm always telling kids, you'll be surprised on the stuff you do at like the CYO rec league level. Mm-hmm. It's stuff they do in high school, college, professional. They just do it at a much more efficient rate with much less mistakes.
100%.
The other set I got for you. So another plug for the Pro Skills family. So Pro Skills originally is this organization started in Charlotte. So that's where most of the teams are. I'm Pro Skills Bay Area director, bringing youth teams out here. One of the guys from the Pro Skills Charlotte teams is playing at the University of Houston currently. So I was just tuning in, watching a lot of their games. This is one of the sets that I saw Coach Sampson on a few times. And so it starts off, you got your 1 up here, and then you're going into a box set, right? So the 4, the 5, same thing, is really interchangeable. Then you got your 2 wing guys down at the block. Slap of the ball, once you call the play out, we're going to get another staggered double screen over here. You could either do a double screen or a staggered screen, really your preference, depending on personnel once again. So this guy will drop down. 3 will set a pick for the 2-man. 2-man's coming off here. 4-man's going to drop down here, set a screen for the 3. 3 runs off over here. 1 swings it to the 3. 4-man's going to post up. 3-man's going to feed it into the post. 5-man's already on this block. 3-man's going to cut across here, get a screen for the 5-man here, He's going to pop up. Foreman's going to hit the 5. And then hopefully your big man has a nice little foul line jumper to knock that down. He can penetrate, help, steps up, dunk down to either the 4 or the 3-man there. And then another option from this same set. Sorry if you hear a dog in the background. So running the same set. And once again, all these positions are kind of interchangeable. So we're doing the same thing, right? 5 ducks down, set a screen, 2-man's coming off. 4-man comes down again. 3's coming off. Swing the ball over here. And then with this being said, the ball can go either direction. So it could go to this side, and then you're just running the same motion, the same set. When the ball goes here, I should mention this last time, ball goes here, the 2-man knows to slide down to the corner for spacing, and then same thing, once the ball goes here, the 1's going to slide over for spacing purposes as well too. We're doing the same thing. 4-man's going to post up, passing it down. 3-man's doing the same motion, coming across, getting the 5. The 5's going to pop up to the foul line again. Let me reassess all of this just so we get more clarity. All right. So now we got the 2's over here. Your 1-man is right there. 5's got the ball top of the key. Now the 4 is going to re-screen the 3. This is a set you kind of see the Warriors run a couple times for Klay Thompson, right? You'll see him feed the post, run through, and the person he fed the ball to the post is going to re-screen for him. He's going to come back out. If you have a good 3-point shooter, this is a perfect opportunity for him to come over here, wing 3, 5 feeds to 3. If not, the 4 is going to duck down again. The 5 can feed the 4. If the defense rotates perfectly through all that, the 4-man's going to come up, set a screen for the 3. We're going to roll. And then depending on your personnel again, higher level players, more athletic players, you can throw that ball towards the rim, have the 4 go get it at the rim. If not, traditional bounce pass. And then at the same time too, after he does that, the 5 is also going to crash to the block. The 3 either gets to the rim or one of those 2 help defenders step up and you dish it off down to one of the guys in the block. So it's just something that more of a traditional set. And then I think it just has some motions and options that typically players and coaches aren't used to seeing per se. So yeah, those are the 2 sets I got for you.
Dope. Thank you, first and foremost, and shout outs to your whiteboard on the back of the door. I know people watching this are like, how do I get a whiteboard on the back of my door ASAP? Man,
it is removable. You know, take it off, put it anywhere. So I'm not. Yeah, to all the people watching, I'm not drawing aimlessly on my door of my house. So.
Word. Well, going back to your first play, I think pretty basic set, but definitely that quick, especially for that 2 coming off the corner, your shot coming out of the corner and get it on top of the key. But I like the notes that you made before that about, just in general, you got the ball, you're coming off a screen, you're looking to attack first. And I think that, you probably don't need to tell an NBA player that, like they know when to put the head down, and probably a pretty quality college player as well knows what to do. But I think especially important at the high school and the youth level to understand that even if the play, there's still steps to the play after that initial screen. Be a basketball player. If that screen is off and that maybe the defender helping is up a little too high, you get around him on that outside foot. The basket is the next stop. So I appreciate you.
Always thinking the first option is the option we're in currently. Don't think like, oh, if they shut this down, we're looking for the next thing. Like, no. Like I said, for that first one, the 1 should be attacking that baseline hard. So if your guy doesn't stop you, get to the cup. Okay, he cuts you off, going to that pick and roll. Look to attack. If they stop that, look for your roll man or your pop man. If that's not there, then you have that other shooter coming off top, and then hit that person. And then from a defensive standpoint, especially if it's end of game or end of quarter in a close game, they're tense, they're on edge. So they're looking to stop everything. So if you time that late staggered down screen, that guy's usually open coming off because they're focused on that ball handler and that pop man too. So
Right. And then for your second play, one thing I really liked is I love, and actually if you in previous episodes of Get Buckets, we've had a lot of both like big on big screening, which we really like just because it puts big men, if you take them maybe 15 feet away from the cup and have some big on big screens or some small on big screens, making those big defenders work in positions they're not used to doing. But I like what yours had more in terms of just the big passing, and
right.
every big man, it's a coach's dream when their big man has a nice 15-foot jump shot. Obviously, he can be a force down low and just has that great vision. So I like how that play really utilizes some opportunities for your 4 and your 5 to be looking to make good quality passes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you for sharing those two. I definitely hope people learn something from both of those. And I think especially with that second one, just a lot of action there. Like if it were to go all the way through and if the defense was playing really incredible, just there continues to be options throughout the play. And I think that's a good characteristic of a great play.
Yeah, no, if something breaks down, you should always be looking to continue it to whatever's next. So
100%.
Keep the options open.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing those two. We're going to hop right in. I'm going to bring you up here. All right. So here we're going to go. All right, so we're going to start with our 1 just offset on the top. Going to have our 3 here on the wing. Going to have our 2 starting here down in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And then we're going to have our 5 here and our 4 here started off. So first action is just a little dribble, pretty much a dribble handoff between the 1 and the 3. All right. 1 and 3. As that dribble handoff is happening, the 2 is starting to slide up nice and slowly. And the 4 and the 5, just to create some kind of movement and get the defense just getting hopefully losing focus about the overall play. 4 and the 5 are going to get to the elbow, but instead of just diving straight up, I want them to cross just to add a little more misdirection in here. So eventually we're going to have the 4 there, 5 there at the elbow. 1 and 3 the dribble handoff, and then the 1's going to stay spread here. So at this point, our 3 has the ball. And what I want them to do is we're going to dribble across. And this, again, back to your play, the importance of timing. As they're dribbling across here above the key, that 2 is creeping up. And the ideal timing is that right as the 3 pretty much gets even with the 5 here, they're going to drop that pass to the 3. The 3 is going to drop this pass to the 5. And at that point, the 2 is just about even with the 5. And our first look is a nice backdoor look from the 5 to the 2. So the 3 is going to make that pass to the 5. The 2 is going to make that backdoor cut. So if that's there, awesome. Get a nice little bucket on the backdoor, one of my favorite cuts. If that's not there, the 2 is going to continue their cut to clear out. The 3 at this point is going to be here above the 5. 5 is with the ball. And then so at this point, we have options. 2 is here. Once that 5 has that look for the 2. If it's not there, simultaneously that 1 is leading their man down. 4 is going to come here and set a nice little down screen here for the 1. And the 1 is going to curl off here. Just like normal basketball, if the defender is playing real tight on their back, the 1's going to curl and dive. If they try to switch with maybe the 4-man, chugging the 1 here and pushing them high, then we're going to have the 1 going high, or at that point, the 4 is going to have 1's defender on their back. And just like anything, if you have defense switching, that screener, when they slip to the rack, that's going to be a good option, especially if they have that switching defender on their back. So just to kind of go over that again, we have the 1, 4 here for the screen. If the 1 can get that curl, that's great. If not, they're going high. If they go high, the 4 is going to seal and dive to the rack. And then we have our 5, kind of actually alluding to your second play there with the bigs passing. That 5 is just making the right pass. So it's either a pass up here to the 1, or it's a pass diving here to the 4. Last, as you mentioned in your plays, if the defense plays perfect defense and they cut off that 4, they cut off the 1, you may hear the coach on the sideline being, just yelling at the 5, tell them to make a play. You know, at
Right.
you're 15 feet one-on-one. If the 4 is not there, the 4 is going to clear out to create that space, and then you're going to have your 5-man with a one-on-one 15 feet away, and I'm hoping my 5-man, gets that bucket.
Yeah.
So that's the look. It's got I like the backdoor cut to start, and then after that, just on the weak side, that down screen with the 4 and the 1, just playing basketball, and the 5 just having the 5 being at the elbow, 15 feet away. They've got a lot of space to purvey and make the right pass.
I like that it starts off with the DHO. And then the backdoor. Yeah, I was coaching a team last year. We ran so much backdoor offense, especially from that high post position, because everyone falls asleep at some point in the game from that cut. So we ran a lot of like 1-4 high stuff, hit that high post, cut back door, and then different option off of that. And then how it ends too, which is probably like the big man's dream. He might hold on to it a little bit at the end, like, oh, coach, no one was open, so I'm gonna keep it. Which is perfect too, because like you said, they all clear out. Like, it's your world, you got space.
Yeah,
do what you gotta do.
No doubt. And that 5, that could be your center, or you put your 5 best players out there, no matter what position they play, and that just happens to be a skilled player who maybe is a 2 or a 3 or a 4.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's the one thing. Everyone keeps preaching like positionless basketball now, but there are still people with strengths and specialties. So you might all be the same height or whatever else, but someone's still a better shooter, someone's still a better playmaker, someone's still a better defender, rebounder. So yeah, no, exactly. Anyone can be that 5.
100%.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you for checking it out. Thank you for that feedback. All right, well, to wrap it up, I like to ask all of our guests, just one question about the game. So I'm interested, as a trainer here in the Bay Area, and you have experience playing on the East Coast, experience playing in China as well. Is there anything that you've observed just about the players that you've worked with here in the Bay Area that differs maybe from your past experience on the East Coast or in China? And if so, what type of things are you looking for Bay Area players to strengthen in their game that maybe they weren't thinking about before?
Yeah. I think, well, just in general, not to, I guess, like, crap on China or anything, but just like the basketball knowledge just from anyone in the States is just typically better than the average Chinese basketball player. That's just more of like a grassroots thing. They definitely have some talented guys over there, and they're producing some talented people, but I think just your average basketball IQ is just a better player here overall. And then I think there's actually a advantage of being a West Coast hooper to an East Coast hooper. You can play year round out here.
Yeah.
East Coast, it gets cold. So at some point, you got to go back inside, and then finding gym time may not be too easy. But here, if you can't get inside, there's always an outdoor court somewhere. Maybe not now during COVID, but you can definitely go out and find somewhere to hoop. And then I think definitely growing up like near New York, at least when I was growing up, there might have been like a misconception that maybe like West Coast guys were a little bit softer because they're next to the beach, it's sunny all the time. But no, they got some tough guys out here. So I think it's just whether it's West Coast or East Coast, I would say just keep improving the overall game and be realistic about your capabilities and start watching players you can possibly mirror or mimic. So if you have a body type like a Duncan Robinson, watch Duncan Robinson play. Try to mimic what he does. Don't try to do what Bam Adebayo does. Like, you're not built like him. Doesn't mean you can't play at that level. Your game's going to be different. So I think with that too, start watching game film. So I'm surprised how many people, China, East Coast, West Coast, wherever, people don't watch footage anymore and people don't watch games. I think that's the one issue with like now in like the highlight era, people just watch highlights or like YouTube clips or like Instagram videos. They don't see the full 48 minutes or full 40 minutes or full 32, depending on what level you're at. Watch the full game, see the nuances, and start mimicking that. And then, yeah, just be realistic about your training sessions and then what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go.
Beautiful. So. No, I think that's great insight. And yeah, to speak on the highlight, real time, a lot of great plays lead to missed shots, and those missed shots aren't going to make the highlight reel, but leading up to that, it was a beautiful set, people setting screens, the timing, the action was great, and maybe they got even a wide open shot out of the play, but because they missed, it's often an afterthought, and especially in the highlight reel. So I appreciate that. When you watch the whole game, you can see all those other missed opportunities for knowledge.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I think to add to that too, learning how to score within an offense. Every bucket you score isn't going to be a one-on-one situation. So you got to know how to come off screens, how to get open, how to play off your teammates. You might get a one-on-one situation a few times during the game, but that's not going to be all of your buckets. So learn how to play the game from like a fundamental standpoint.
Beautiful. Beautiful. James Harden would disagree with you, but
for sure.
Everyone else out there, right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Man gets 30 looks on the one-on-one look. I love it, man. Hey, but he knows himself, And
Exactly.
When you're at that level, one-on-one sounds good to me with Jay. That's fine. Cool. Yo, Drew, man, I really appreciate your time. Everyone, definitely check out the links below for information and ways to connect with him. If you're a young person or if you're a baller out here on the West Coast, Drew is ready to help you improve your skills. Drew, thank you for your time, man. Have a great weekend, all right?
I appreciate you, bro. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.